What's up, everybody? In this video we're going to take a look at the OG Pixel XL versus the brand spanking new, controversially screened Pixel 2 XL. So here on the screen I have the comparison of the specs from GSM Arena. I'm just going to touch on a few of these that I feel are important differences, but I'll put links to this in the description down below so you can peruse them a little more in depth if you like. So first of all, I want to talk about the dimensions of the screen. On the left, on the original Pixel, we have an AMOLED touchscreen. On the right, with the Pixel 2, we have a POLED screen. It is a larger screen at 6 inches, though it is a different ratio at 18.9 as opposed to 16:9. Given that aspect ratio, you see we've got a higher PPI on the Pixel 2 XL. Another thing worth pointing out is the new Pixel 2 is IP67 certified, so you're going to have a more resilient phone with the Pixel 2 XL as opposed with the OG Pixel XL, which is just kind of splash and dust resistant. You're definitely not going to want to drop this in a meter of water like you could with the Pixel 2 XL. The other thing worth noting is that on the Pixel 2, the base storage was upped to 64 gigs from 32 gigs. A little bit of a better deal as far as storage goes, although the price of the Pixel 2 is a lot higher than the Pixel 1 was at launch. And given that the Pixel 1 has been out for a year now, you can probably find a pretty good deal on it. And that's kind of what the goal of this is to show, you know, is the Pixel 1 still worth getting today, given that you're going to save some money buying that. So I want to jump into the actual phones themselves. Okay, so here we have the phones themselves. The Pixel 2 is a little bit taller and a little bit wider than the OG Pixel. You'll notice the glass panel that's on the top third of the original one has been shrunken down, and so it's a lot smaller over here on the Pixel 2. We also get a little bit of a camera bump on the Pixel 2, whereas on the OG Pixel it's just pretty flat. And then the fingerprint scanners are in pretty much the same place. It's a little bit larger on the original Pixel, but they're both really responsive, really fast, and they're just in really good places overall. I think Google should make this mandatory. Fingerprint sensors go here if you're going to do big screens on the fronts of the devices. On the left sides of the phone, all we have is a SIM card tray, and that's pretty much it. On the right side of the phone, we have a power button and then volume rockers, and I will say the texturing on the power button is a little bit nicer on the OG Pixel. Both sets of buttons are just smooth on the Pixel 2. And then you also notice the original Pixel is kind of thicker at the top versus the bottom. That's probably how they were able to get rid of that camera bump, whereas the Pixel 2 is a uniform thickness all the way throughout. And one thing I want to note on the original Pixel, the power button is actually kind of cheap feeling on this. It rattles a little bit. I'll see if you can hear it. So you can hear that, that's actually the power button rattling around. And that was like that, I've had this for a year now, but that's been like that since pretty much day one. So that's not a result of dropping it or anything, that's just how it is. So that's kind of unfortunate. On the front we have the screens. You'll see the biggest difference is the bezels on the Pixel 1 are ginormous, which gives us that 16:9 screen ratio, whereas on the Pixel 2 they are very small, and that gives us that 18:9 ratio over here. What's also really cool about the Pixel 2 is it's got speakers on the top and bottom, so you're gonna get stereo speakers. Over here we just have a speaker on the bottom. But the Pixel 1 kind of makes up for that with actually having a headphone jack on top. They got rid of the headphone jack on the Pixel 2, so that's kind of lame. As far as how they feel in the hand, they both feel really nice, and given that the Pixel 2 is just a little bit bigger than the OG Pixel, they both still feel really good in hand. I have somewhat bigger hands, so if you've got small hands, these are going to be really hard to use one-handed. The Pixel 2 has this coating on the metal that makes it a little bit rougher, and so it's a little bit easier to have a good grip on the Pixel 2 as opposed to the Pixel 1. But both of them feel really nice in the hand, really substantial, well-made feeling, aside from that little button rattle, a little power button rattle on the original Pixel. So turning the screens on, you see on the Pixel 2, we've got much smaller borders, bezels on the top and the bottom, as opposed to these big guys over here on the original Pixel. Now, one of the big controversies for the Pixel 2 has been the quality of the screen. A lot of people are saying it's poor quality, the colors are muted, the off-angle viewing sucks, and there's even some discussion of burn-in happening. I can definitely attest to the colors looking muted right out of the box. I would say compared to the Pixel 1, the colors are a little bit more vibrant on the Pixel 1 than they are on the Pixel 2. After using the Pixel 2 for a couple of days, I stopped noticing the quote-unquote muted colors, and I think the screen looks really good to me. You can notice the blue shift though, so if I tilt it, You see it starts turning blue. And same with this way. That's not really an issue on the OG. It does kind of get discolored a little bit, but at a much more extreme viewing angle. It's like right there, it starts turning like a reddish color. But again, that's a lot more of an extreme angle than it is on this one when you start seeing the blue. So you kind of start seeing it right there. One case where it is an issue is if you're going to leave it on a desk and you're going to just use it from here, you will notice it just sitting up and using it on the desk. You'll notice the blue tint that it gets. And that kind of sucks, especially on a lighter screen, because you know that you're not seeing whatever's on the device in the colors that it's meant to be seen. Other than that, the majority of the time, you're holding the phone in your hand and you're looking at it right on. As you see it on camera, the background does look white and it's pretty much the same color as over here. Let me jump into an app so you can see, one, performance, but two, how having this longer screen is going to affect some apps and videos and how they look. So here we have Riptide Renegade. Just want to show you this game, one, to show you how the app looks with the screen ratio like this. So I'm probably not going to do very well, but this is a pretty graphically intensive game. And it looks really good, it performs really well, and I'm not doing very good here, but as far as performance and how it looks really awesome, it looks really good. And the phone is going to handle most apps that you throw at it. It does have the latest and greatest processors, and some apps are optimized for the screen ratio, so they're going to look good. And you're going to be able to see in a second here how that doesn't always work out. But first I want to take a look at this on the OG Pixel and see how that looks. Okay, so here we have the same game running on the OG Pixel, and even though this is a year-old processor, the game still looks really good. The screen still looks really nice as well. Of course, one of the differences being you have the big bezels here, and of course I'm going to suck at this game again, but it still looks really good, still performs really well, and let's see if I can get it this time. Oh, I did better. So this phone's going to be able to handle, again, most stuff you throw at it. The fact that it is a phone from Google means you're going to get software updates in a really timely manner as you would on the Pixel 2, and that's going to hopefully help you have a phone that performs pretty well for a few years to come, since they are committing, I think it's 2 years of updates for the Pixel, the original Pixel. So you'll still have 2 years of updates and then like another couple of years of security updates as well. So this phone's going to be able to last you for a pretty long time. And even though it is a year old, again, you're going to get it for much cheaper than you are the Pixel 2. So let's go ahead and take a look at a movie. That's going to be a little bit more of a better example that's going to show you how the screen will crop different movies and different aspect ratios. So I'll go ahead and jump into a movie real quick here. Okay, so here in this video we've got some massive letterboxing going on the OG Pixel because of the aspect ratio of the movie, whereas on the Pixel 2 we still have some letterboxing, but the black portions are much smaller because of the wider aspect ratio of the screen. So that's going to definitely be an advantage. As far as colors go, again, the colors on both screens look really good, really nice. The Pixel 2 is tuned for more realistic colors, is what they've said. And you can kind of see the Pixel 1 is a little warmer looking. So now I want to show off the speakers on both devices, and we'll go ahead and take a look at the same clip on both phones and see how it sounds. Okay, so that was a quick little sample on the OG Pixel. Now let's see the same clip on the Pixel 2 and see how that sounds. Okay, so to me it sounds a lot better on the Pixel 2, and that makes sense because we've got two front-facing speakers. And I maxed out the volume on both, and there was very little distortion on either one. Both devices sound really good, but once you compare them side by side, yes, the Pixel 2 is going to sound better because it has those two speakers. The Pixel 1 by itself, though, still sounds really good. You're just going to have to deal with the one bottom firing speaker, and you're probably going to have to cup your hand around it like that in certain situations. Other than that, as far as video goes, with widescreen videos like this, they're going to look better on the Pixel 2. However, if you do have a 16:9 video that's going to fill up this whole screen, the Pixel 2 is either going to give you black borders on the side of the video, or you can zoom in and then it's going to cut off the top and bottom of the video. So as far as color goes, I think the color on both phones looks really good, but again, that's if you're not viewing them at a weird off-axis angle, so you don't get that blue tint on the Pixel 2. Let's go ahead and talk about the software on the phones and look at some of the differences. So both phones do have Android 8.0 on them, and this is kind of funny. The original Pixel actually has a newer security patch than the Pixel 2 XL, so that's kind of funny. Google is going to release updates for both of these phones directly to the phones. You don't have to wait for carriers to do their monkeying around. They're going to come straight from Google, so you're going to get quick updates. One thing that is going to be different though, and let me go to the home screen so I could show that. You'll notice the home screens do look a little different. These are both the Pixel launchers, but the Pixel launcher on the Pixel 2 XL is a little bit different. You see the little G button from up here has been moved to a search bar down here. However, on both phones, you swipe up, you get your app drawers. There's just a little bit different looking there too. Both have the Google Assistant, however they've added the functionality on the Pixel 2 that you can squeeze the sides and it brings up the Assistant that way. Whereas over here you can just long press on the home screen, on the home button, or you can say OKG, or I'll just say it so you can see it, OK Google. And it comes up on the phone like that too. So just one more option for you on the Pixel 2. Is that worth spending the extra money? I don't personally think so. Most of the time when I do squeeze the sides, it's on accident. Usually when I am using the Assistant, I'm either just long pressing on the home key, on the home button, or I'm just saying, you know, OK Google, and then using it that way. So from a software perspective, both really good options. You're just gonna have a little bit more newer aesthetic on the Pixel 2 XL. So now we've looked at the hardware, the software, the screens, the performance. The last thing I'm going to cover is the cameras. So I'm going to go ahead and do some side-by-side comparisons of some photos and videos that I've shot with both these devices, and we can see how different they look and what the upgrade for this year is on the camera front for the Pixel 2 XL. So go ahead and take a look at that now. Okay, so here we have a Pixel and Pixel 2 picture side-by-side comparison. On the left side is the Pixel 1 picture, on the right side is the Pixel 2 picture. And in both cases, Auto HDR, I tapped on the center of the tree as my focal point. And right off the bat, without zooming in, the colors on the Pixel 1 actually look better to me. There's a lot more dynamic range in the sky. You could see a lot more of the clouds without losing any detail in the tree, whereas over here the clouds look a lot more blown out. Let's go ahead and zoom in and see what sort of details we get once we zoom in on the photo. Okay, so we're zoomed in on both photos. This is a really hard picture to take as far as cameras go. There's a lot going on as far as lighting and detail, and I'd say in both cases you kind of lose some of the detail of the leaves just because there's so many leaves. I would say, looking at it zoomed in, neither did a really great job of sort of discerning between the leaves, and they both just kind of look like paintings almost, with a lot of the detail in the leaves just kind of blobbed together. So in this case, I'm going to say the Pixel 1 actually looks better just because of the coloring and the detail in the sky. So in this picture, I like the Pixel 1 better. And let's go ahead and take a look at another photo in a different situation. Okay, so in this picture, I took a portrait mode photo. The Pixel 2 has a new and improved pixel layout where they have what they call subpixels, where each pixel is divided in two, and so they're able to do better portrait modes, or so they claim, because of that arrangement. Whereas on the Pixel 1, you have to do this sort of weird tracking thing where you move the camera up and down for it to take a portrait shot. Just looking at the pictures, actually, in this case, I prefer the Pixel 2. The colors are a little more accurate as to what this actually looked like. As far as the desk, it's a lot more red in the Pixel 1 picture, and I actually think it looks nice. This is more accurate as far as what the desk actually looks like. Let's go ahead and zoom in and see how both phones do as far as the details around the little Funko figure here. Okay, so zooming in, the Pixel 1 is a little noisier than the Pixel 2. This looks a lot cleaner to me. Neither is perfect as far as blurring the background, but it looks a lot cleaner. The lines around his little hat look a lot cleaner than they do over here. They look fuzzy over here, and it blurred part of his little glasses here. Over here we have some weird blurring going on here. Not sure what happened there, but for the most part this looks way better to me. So in this case I'd say the Pixel 2 did a much better job as far as not only capturing the color accuracy of the scene, but also giving us a cleaner picture and then doing a good job on the background blur. Let's go ahead and take a look at another situation. So here we have an up-close shot of my iPhone 10. Again, on the left, the OG Pixel, on the right, the Pixel 2. In both cases, I focused on the Apple logo. I tapped on that as my focal point. And again, with color accuracy, I'm going to give that to the Pixel 2. This is more accurate as to what the table actually looked like. Over here, it's just a little bit more warmer looking. Let's go ahead and zoom in and see what kind of details we picked up. So zooming in on this one, they both look not too great. They're good pictures in both cases, but I noticed some blurring on this pattern up here, which isn't an easy pattern to pick up, but there's some blurring in both cases. As far as the wood grain goes, I think the Pixel 2 did a better job of picking up some of the details over here. Over here, that's a little more muddy on the Pixel 1. In both cases, I'd say they're both still good shots, with the Pixel 1 just getting more warmer tones and the Pixel 2 being more color accurate. Both good pictures. In this case, the Pixel 2 is more color accurate. So let's go ahead and look at some photos in some darker situation. Okay, so here we have a tasty quit from my local watering hole. In both cases, again, really good pictures. If I didn't have them to compare to each other, I'd say they're both awesome pictures. But looking at them side by side, the color, again, is more accurate on the Pixel 2. This yellow poster back here gets a little washed out, whereas over here it's pretty vibrant and yellow. And this is what it looks like. And then as far as the beer itself, let's go ahead and zoom in and see what kind of details we can or can't see. Okay, so we're zoomed in, and this just looks, the reflections look a little bit nicer on this glass as opposed to on the Pixel 1. We see we've got some more detail, a little bit better contrast here than we do over here. The color of the wood is more accurate in the Pixel 2's photo than it is in the Pixel 1's. So let's now go ahead and look at the necessary evil of selfies. Alright, so I tried getting the same pose in both pictures. Apologies for, it's me and not some hot model. I would say in the Pixel 2, it definitely caught a lot more detail in my hair. Over here, it just looks like it's kind of blended together and blurred together. Whereas here, I've got a lot more detail in my hair. And then the logo on my shirt, you can see the colors more clearly than you can over here. Overall, I'd say they're both, again, good pictures, with the Pixel 2 having better color accuracy and picking up more detail, actually. So if you're a selfie fanatic and you like taking selfies in dark places, the Pixel 2 is going to do a better job for you. However, the Pixel 1 isn't a slouch and takes a decent photo. So let's go ahead and take a look at a selfie in some bright light. Again, try to get the same pose in both pictures. And in this case, the Pixel 2, again, picks up more detail in my hair. You can see more of the strands of hair in this photo than you can over here. One thing is interesting is the background. In this picture, you can actually make out a lot of detail in the background over here. Whereas on the Pixel 2, it's a lot more washed out. So I'd say on the dynamic range in the sun, the Pixel 1 did better, but as far as detail on my actual face and hair and stuff, the Pixel 2 picked up more detail. And then as far as color goes, it looks like the Pixel 1 made my skin a little warmer looking than it did on the Pixel 2. Again, in this one I'll give it to the Pixel 2, with the Pixel 1 producing a decent photo, but not as accurate. And let's go ahead and take a look at some video from both phones, and we'll see how that looks. Okay, so here we have the Pixel 1 on the left, the Pixel 2 on the right. Try to do my best to get the same shot in both. And I'm basically just walking down the trail, and In both cases, it's 1080p, and I have stabilization turned on for both. And for some reason, I don't know why, the Pixel 2, it felt like, to me anyways, it was a lot shakier when I was just holding it in my hand. But looking at the video side by side, they both look pretty decent. I would say the colors on the Pixel 2, which is the video on the right, look a little bit better. Let me go ahead and, well, before I turn on the sound for both, you can see the sky here. And I think the sky actually looks better in the Pixel 1. But as far as like the greens and the colors of the trees and stuff, I think the Pixel 2 actually did a better job of capturing the actual colors and what it looked like. So let me go ahead and play some audio so you can see how they both did in that respect. Alright, so to me, it seems like the sound coming out of the Pixel 2 was a lot louder. I didn't manipulate the sound on either of them in any way. Although it was louder, it did pick up more of the wind. I don't know if that had to do with how I was holding the phones or the direction the wind was blowing. I felt like I was holding them the same way, but it did seem windier and louder, so not sure about that. In either way, I feel like the coloring in the Pixel 2's video was just a little bit better. The stabilization seemed pretty good in both videos. In this part of the video, not really sure what happened with the Pixel 1, but it seemed to have a little bit of a freak out as far as like the coloring. The Pixel 2 didn't have that issue. So bottom line, when you look at the phone side by side, the Pixel 2 has a lot of better qualities than the Pixel 1. But looking at the phones by themselves, if you already have a Pixel 1, I would say definitely it's a good phone to keep. If you don't want to jump onto the Pixel 2 and want to wait for the Pixel 3, you're not going to be left out of having a good phone. If you have something else and you're looking to upgrade to a Pixel because you want to get that Pixel experience, but you don't want to deal with the shortcomings of the Pixel 2, such as no headphone jack, the weird coloring when looking at the screen off angles, and just the high price of it, then I would say get a Pixel 1. It's still a really good phone, and I still really enjoy using it. So I would definitely recommend it if that's something you want to do. So there you have it. That's been a look at the Pixel 1 versus the Pixel 2 XL. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions for me, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and Instagram. So until next time, take care.